Welcome in. My name's Quentin and you're tuned in with Three Springs Native Nursery, located here in north central Wisconsin. This journey and channel is going to be dedicated to the dream that I've had for a number of years now of starting my own native plant nursery. Little did I know 3 years ago when I bought this property that I was going to have more plants than I could ever imagine to be able to start with propagating, collecting seed, and growing out to help bring back ecosystems similar to this throughout northern Wisconsin. We'll be exploring all sorts of different plants that I have identified across this 4.5 acre property, as well as some of the things that it takes to be able to start a native plant nursery. Now I know there's other guys that have started plant nurseries, such as Red Fraser Farms or the Savvy Dirt Farmer down south, who do great, incredible work. But this channel is going to be dedicated all to the native plants that we need so dearly to be able to support the ecosystem services that our communities are sorely lacking. Along the way, we'll be exploring some of the unique flowers that Wisconsin and the Midwest have to offer us, while also trying to identify and learn a bit more about the different interactions that they have with the ecosystem around them. Now, like I said, I purchased this property just over 3 years ago. And look at that, a beautiful, I believe that's an American lady, one of the painted ladies. But as I was saying, I purchased this property a little over 3 years ago, and I didn't necessarily know what to expect being on the property, given that I purchased it at the end of fall. Over the course of 3 years, I've been able to identify over 250 native species of trees, shrubs, forbs, grasses, fern allies, etc. in that short period of time. If anyone is familiar with Gerald Wilhelm, he's the guy who created the conservation scores for the Conservation Corps back in, I think it was the 60s or 70s for Chicago area. Taking into consideration all the plants I've identified so far, we are somewhere in the neighborhood of a 4.1 for a C-score, which is an absolutely astounding number given just how small of a property and parcel this is. I figured I would treat you to some of the beautiful flowers that are in bloom right now at this time of the year. And I'll wrap up by giving you a little shot of what my favorite place in the property looks like right after this. By far, one of my favorite places on the property is in the center of my pond. From this point, you can see all the blooms coming into early fall. The Joe Pye weed, the different types of goldenrod, giant, mammoth, in Canada. And this year, the special bloomer is the devil's beggar's tick. After clearing out the pond this last year, it made a perfect place for these first year plants to come right in and take over. And boy, look at the pollinators on them. They're just gorgeous little plants growing right out of the bottom of the pond. And how can you beat a beautiful little waterfall? Well, back to exploring. Have a good day.